Let's quickly review the three-layer architecture in web development. Three-layer architecture is a software architecture that can be used to develop flexible and loosely coupled web applications. So what do I mean by three-layered? In this case, the server side is divided into three layers: web layer, service layer, and data persistence layer. This architecture results in separating the different aspects of the server side into three layers: web, service, and persistence. So for example, in step 1, when a request comes to the server, the web layer is responsible for handling this incoming request. Now, if you remember that in our Spring Boot introductory example, we use annotation @controller to annotate a controller class. So that's the controller I'm referring to. But controller is not going to do anything about this request other than accept it. It will pass this request to a proper service, a service object in the service layer. And the service object processes the request. If data operation is needed, like CRUD, then service object will use a DO object in persistence layer to retrieve or to do something about the data, like CRUD. DAO is the object that interacts directly with database. It issues SQL statements to, for example, MySQL database, and it receives results from this database. Once DAO receives the results, it will return to the caller, which is service object. And the service object may further process the data before it returns to the controller. Now, once controller receives the result, controller will package the result in a uniform response object, then use, for example, JSON to serialize it to a JSON format and send HTTP response back to the API client. So that's the entire journey of request and response. So in our demo, we're going to define the three layers. And in each layer, we're going to define the objects, for example, controller, service, and DAO.